It is worth the riches of the whole earth. Well, what is? Today's reading, we are talking about the Book of Commandments. And you know what's really interesting about it is if they have felt the strong prompting that something is worth the riches of the whole earth, then why did it not come to pass? And what can we learn from that? A little midday reading for today. So welcome if you are joining for the first time live, because I'm doing it at a different time. And you know what? I don't even have my mic set up. All right, so let's chit chat while I set up a little bit. Joseph Smith said the Book of Commandments was worth the riches of the whole earth. And what happened to the Book of Commandments? Well, we haven't gotten to the part what came to be, but what will come to be of it is that in the process of it getting printed to be released. So the Book of Commandments is just a book full of revelation that Joseph Smith has received thus far. Most of the members don't even know anything that we have learned and read about because it was not published. So it's not common public knowledge. What we know now, thus far up to Doctrine and Covenants, is not common knowledge among the saints because it's not published. So they're trying to get it published. Hear me a little better? And then before it is distributed among the masses, a mob comes into the publication site and they ruin the office and they take most of the pages. We have a few pages because these young teenagers, 13 and 15, is it? Caroline and Mary? They're a cool story if you look them up. They went out after the mob into the streets to save some of the pages, but then like 9 days later, Joseph decides that they're not going to publish the Book of Commandments. So why is that, do we think? Because if we can pinpoint possibilities to that answer, we will be better equipped when we are doing something we feel like God wants us to do, but it doesn't quite end up how we thought. One of the things that I have learned is sometimes it not working out. Is it working out? Because of the fruit that comes from it that wouldn't have otherwise come without being on that path. I have learned a lot that when God asks me to do something and it doesn't work out, I am able to be led to different things that wouldn't have come otherwise if I wasn't on that not working out path, if that makes sense. Am I articulating it in the best way? Maybe not. Because clearly we still do have things printed, the revelation is printed, but how it is printed, how it is put together is done differently. So before we throw our hands up and be like, God's not real, why did I feel that way? What the heck? We can think, okay, so it didn't work out that way, but I am on a path to maybe a different idea that stems because it doesn't work out. Or it's just on a different path, or we are doing it, and it's just the end result is just going to be packaged differently. We're on track to fully putting it together. So instead of saying he's not there, that was wrong, what a weird thought, what the heck, to know that it not working out is sometimes it working out because of the path that we're on, because of the new mindset track that we're on, because of the fruits that will come. So just a little thought that I had. Okay, Book of Commandments, put a halt to it. Mom stole it, but obviously they moved forward and they wanted to move forward, and they had the discussion that yes, we still feel like printing the revelations I'm receiving is important, and thus we have the Doctrine and Covenants. So they did it, folks, and we are so glad that they did. Okay. I need to wash my hair. We're in section 70 in the Doctrine and Covenants. We're just gonna read. Are you ready? Your daily scriptures for today. Daily, today. was a little redundant. Here we go. Behold and hearken, O you inhabitants of Zion, and all ye people of my church, who are far off, and hear the word of the Lord, which I give unto my servant Joseph Smith, Jr., and also my servant Martin Harris, and also unto my servant Oliver Cowdery, and also unto my servant John Whitmer, and also unto my servant Sidney Rugden, and also unto my servant William W. Phelps, who we read about a few sections ago, by the way of commandment unto them. For I give unto them a commandment, wherefore hearken and hear. Hearken meaning act, or listen and act. Hearken and hear, for thus saith the Lord unto them. We talk about all the time how there's like 2 different commandments. The 10 commandments and personal commandment. What is he commanding you to do in your personal life right now? I, the Lord, have appointed unto them and ordained them to be stewards over the revelations and commandments which I have given unto them, which I shall hereafter give unto them. And an account of this stewardship will I require of them in the day of judgment. Wherefore I have appointed unto them that this is their business in the church of God, to manage them, and the concerns thereof, yea, the benefits thereof. Wherefore a commandment I give unto them, that they shall not give these things unto the church, neither unto the world. Nevertheless, inasmuch as they received more than is needful for their necessities and their wants, it shall be given into my storehouse. And the benefits shall be consecrated unto the inhabitants of Zion and unto their generations, inasmuch as they become heirs according to the laws of the kingdom. Behold, this is what the Lord requires of every man in his stewardship, even as I, the Lord, have appointed and shall hereafter appoint unto any man. And behold, none are exempt from this law who belong to the church of the living God. Yea, neither the bishop, neither the agent who keepeth the Lord's storehouse, neither he who is appointed in a stewardship over temporal things. He who is appointed to minister spiritual things, the same is worthy of hire, even as those who are appointed to a stewardship to administer in temporal things. Almost done. Yea, even more abundantly, which abundance is multiplied unto them through the manifestations of the Spirit. Nevertheless, in your temporal things you shall be equal, and this not grudgingly. Otherwise, the abundance of the manifestations of the Spirit shall be withheld. The abundance of the manifestations of the Spirit shall be withheld. Now, this commandment I give unto my servants for their benefit, while they remain, for a manifestation of my blessings upon their heads, and for a reward for their diligence, and for their security, for food, for raiment, for inheritance, for houses, for lands, in whatsoever in circumstances I the Lord shall place them, and whithersoever I the Lord shall send them. For they have been faithful over many things, and have done well inasmuch as they have not sinned. Behold, I the Lord am merciful, and will bless them, and they shall enter into the joy of these things. Even so, amen. So what is it that God is asking you to do in your own personal life? What kind of sacrifices will go into that? I don't know, but whatever is required of us in what he's asking of us, the benefit, what did I want to say? Where did it just go? Benefit while they remain. I don't know. Different thought. We had a great conversation several sections ago about stewardship, which actually feels like forever ago, because maybe that was before our little Easter break. I don't know. Who do we have stewardship over right now? An obvious one is maybe because of our callings. If we're a parent, our children. And then what get it together, Al. We talk about stewardship over yourself, making sure that we are taking time to take care of us, because we are housing and we are here just like we're supposed to be raising our kids what do they say? Like our kid isn't really our kid, they're Heavenly Father's, and we just are going to take care of them here. Or I don't know what that quote is, but sorry, my phone is dying. Just a good way to view ourselves too. To realize that it is just as important to take stewardship over ourselves because of the soul that is living within us. The soul that we promised to take care of when coming down to get this body, to house it. Just as we committed to take care of our kids, we, I believe, also committed to take care of our soul who could never die. So when we talk about stewardship, absolutely, that includes you, taking care of you, what you need to thrive. Spiritual, temporal, physical, all of those things. Of course, we know that temporal, physical, all things are spiritual. All things have deep spiritual meaning. And so nothing really is temporal. So when we talk about stewardship, investing in stewardship, we have to do a better job to take care of ourselves and our soul too, by feeding it, like reading the scriptures, feeding it, strengthening it, taking care of it, being mindful of it. I'm kind of like, I don't want to say a fitness junkie because I'm ignorant to a lot of things, but I am into fitness. I do it every day. But for me, it's not because I want to look a certain way at all. I don't care what I look like. But that is an outlet for me to strengthen my body, take care of my body, in being active. It makes my brain more clear and active, and I think better, and I'm happier. And so I don't work out to look a certain way, but because to me that is how I can take care of how I can have stewardship over what houses my body. Okay. Things that I underline. This is a very quick one, and everything that I got out of it, I mostly already talked about, or we talked about in previous sections. Here's how I underlined it to make it about me. Hear the word of the Lord. Hearken and hear, so listen and act with what he wants us to do. If you receive more than is needful, storehouse. So meaning, can I be more giving to help those in need? Well, probably, because this is what the Lord requires of every man, taking care of others. When we were houseless, moving from Arizona to New York, and we were in a hotel for almost 6 weeks, and it was all out of our hands, probably one of the biggest things that we've learned was Heavenly Father, he uses other people to answer our prayers. 98% of our pleadings when we were in this dire house, we didn't have anywhere to go. We were in a hotel. So I guess, we had somewhere to go, hotel. But 90% of the things we were pleading for and desperate for, it came through an outlet of other people. And not hit, So this is what the Lord requires of every man, to give where we can, because that's how he can come to others. None are exempt from this law. Living God is kind of a theme we've had in the past several sections. And he's merciful. He will bless you in whatever he's asking of you, in any effort that is required of us. We talk about stewardship and acting and doing new things and hard things. And we read in one of these verses just that the responsibility, with responsibility comes the promise of mercy and abundance. And it's multiplied. Our abundance is multiplied. That's the promise. With responsibility comes mercy and multiplied abundance, getting more than what we put in. All right, that is our scripture today. And even though it is midday here, it's 5 o'clock here, my brain struggled, but we did it. I will see you tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. It's going to be great.